Hey guys, got a new package in the mail. I mean, I already pretty much know what this is, but let's see what we got here. Alright, it's one of those new AnyTone, like those little micro CBs. It's actually a 10-meter radio. They sell this over in Europe. And you can actually put the thing in 10-meter mode, or you can put it in like a CB mode. But it puts out 8 watts, which is, I don't know. I think the max wattage on a CB is 4 watts. Let me close that door. All right. So yeah, I'm probably gonna take this apart and try to figure it out. You know, see if I can do some mods to it. But I thought the max wattage was 4 watts for CB, but it says 8 watts right there. But I think maybe like once you put it maybe in CB mode, it probably scales it back down to 4 watts because. There we go. You know, I did another video earlier about the CB radio dead, and for the most part, I'd say at least in my area, it's probably pretty much dead. You know, but really, I got this really for for my old Bronco for like when I'm on the trails because when you're on the trails, I mean, you don't get really good cell signal if you get any, if at all, but you're communicating with other vehicles, and even though I'm installing a ham radio in the Bronco. Most of these guys don't have ham radios, so I needed some way to be able to communicate. And in my other video, my Cobra 19DX died, so I wanted to get a new radio, but I wanted it to be like ultra small because really, I'm probably never going to use this thing. I mean, very rarely, maybe once a year, maybe if that. And yeah, it kind of bugged. My other radio died before I even got a chance to use it. It didn't die, but you couldn't hear any volume. No, it wouldn't receive any sound. So. But let me show you. I mean, this thing is tiny. That's my hand right there. I don't know if I'm trying to get this in the camera, but yeah, this thing is absolutely micro. It's probably about like 3 to 4 inches wide here, and looks like there's a spot for an external speaker and your antenna jack there. Little speaker on the bottom. Comes with a little mount there, screws, little screw pack for like the mic mount there, and look at that. So I'll do a power up test too. But cool. So let me show you my other radio. I could tell they're going to be like a similar size. So this is my QYT. I showed you in a different video. This is the actual ham radio. It's a quad band ham radio that I'm going to put in the car, and I wanted to put them side by side. So I'll do another video on the actual installation in the Bronco, how they're going to look and what it's going to look like. But I mean, look how small these things are. So yeah, I'm going to have these side by side, but I mean, the size of an old radio is probably about that wide. So it's just a little wider, and I get CB. And ham radio, but this operates in AM FM mode, but obviously CB is typically in is AM mode. So kind of bummed this wasn't a single sideband, because if it was single sideband, I'd be able to get some serious range out of this thing. But I mean, this thing was like only $58 on Amazon Prime. So, but yeah, look how small it is. That's great. I mean, this thing is tiny, so it's going to be actually kind of away, and it's going to be nice that it's that compact. Whereas before, my other one kind of interfered with my transfer case sticks, but a little bit, not too much. But all right, let me power this thing up and test it to see if it works. This is not going to be a full review. This was just kind of like an unboxing review. But let me grab my power supply and I'll fire this up. All right, cool. Have these connected to power, and I'm using my old antenna from a long time ago, and some old like CB antenna. Now I use a Fire Stick, but actually I bought some new Fire Sticks, so when I go to install this on my Bronco, I'm gonna update the antennas too. But so right now they're both fired up on channel 13. They both have antennas connected to them because I read somewhere online that you shouldn't transmit or receive without an antenna connected, or mainly transmit. I'm not sure about receive, but so I know these things actually are a 10 meter radio, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm doing an experiment right now to see if they're going to be able to communicate. So test, and nothing's transmitting to the other radio. I'm on channel 13. Test, and nothing's being picked up either way. So I read online that there's a way to take this thing out of 10 meter mode and put it into like CB mode. I'm hoping that's the case because it's being sold as a CB. This is also called like an Albrecht like 610, I think. But yeah, I just thought, okay, let's make sure I'm AM FM mode. I'm in AM mode, so. And that's what your American CBs transmit in, is AM. So let me see if there's. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna see if I can figure out a way to get this thing into CB mode. Hopefully that's possible. Freaking annoyed if it doesn't. Send it back. All right. All right, guys. So back here and did a little research on this radio here, and I couldn't find a way just to put the thing in 11 meter mode, you know, just with the hitting buttons. So I found this page. It's called Reverend, no, I can't even pronounce that, but Bo's 11 meter ministry. So it looks like he's making some sort of like Go box or something. And I'm kind of surprised that Amazon sells this radio as they say CB radio. But originally the ad said 10 meter / 11 meter. But I mean, most people actually probably looking to buy a CB radio don't know the difference between 10 meter and 11 meter. So that's kind of interesting there. But so on this page, if you scroll down towards the bottom, you actually have to open up the device, and this kind of goes through the actual. I have to do a little soldering, and I actually have to physically put this in 11 meter mode, which is CB mode. So here's some of the, you have to solder the joints here on opt2, opt1. That's 10 meter amateur band. That's the default how it comes. Yeah, because it really, I mean, it's. I'm just wondering how they're shipping this thing as a CB, called a CB in 10 meter mode. I don't know, but I'm not a lawyer, so who knows. Then if they're both open, so I have to take off the, because I have to open up, I have to remove the solder joint on opt2 and have them both open for CB mode. And alright, so the next thing we're going to do is open this up and solder a joint, I guess. Try to figure out these components on the board and get it going, because I know at this point it's not transmitting on the right channel, so it has to be in 10 meter mode. So get this thing going here. Okay, there it is. So how do you open this up? Like a couple of screws. Okay, the bottom of the screws. Looks like they're Torx. Can't tell if they're hex or Torx. Looks like Torx. Or hex. I can't tell. Alright, so I'll be back, put on my test bench and do some soldering. I think the light probably sucks in here. I'm going to see if I can zoom in here. Just on my test bench here. And using like a small little Torx bit. Take this cover off. And I need to desolder. To put this in American mode, CB mode, I have to 11 meter mode. From what I read, I have to take off the solder joint. I have to remove both the solder legs. So, and I already have my soldering iron going. And there it is. Holy shit, that's small. Yeah, I don't even know if you can see that. I mean, this is like microscopic. Actually, it looks. Let's see if I can. That'll even zoom in here. I have no clue. That I probably won't even focus. It's so tiny. Yeah. But op 2, if you can see it, is right there. It's pretty microscopic. So I'm going to use my little soldering iron and my little solder sucker here. You know, and hopefully just suck that little piece of solder off. But it's so microscopic, man. I got to be careful. But the cool thing is, my soldering iron has a super microscopic fine tip. It's a little Weller one. Yeah, I gotta do. This camera sucks. I gotta do a camera, so it's. All right, here we go. Op 2. Yep. Surprisingly, I'm 42 years old and I have pretty good vision. 2015 actually, but yeah, it's weird as my vision got better as I got older. I used to be 20/30 when I was younger, and then I thought I needed glasses for some reason. I went to get a test at the optometrist, and he said that I had 20/15. So. Alright, that's it. So, and default EU mode should be CB mode, so got that off. I'm going to power it back up and see if I can get some get these CBs to communicate. So yeah, I think there's probably other kind of, I think I was reading somewhere there's other mods you can do, like for the for wattage or whatever, but I want to keep this thing legal, so I don't even care. It's just to communicate between vehicles. I'm not trying to go distance. So if I'm trying to go distance, I'll probably use my ham radio. But I don't know. But all right, cool. I'll be back. Guys, back here, and it's actually EU mode. That's the default, so I didn't have to change anything. So let me show you a quick test here. And it's on channel 13. My other radio's on channel 13. Test, 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 test. And my old CB radio. Test, 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 test. Turn the volume on. Test, 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 test. So, cool. It's in 11 meter mode. And make sure I'm still in AM. I wonder if the default. I wonder if I can go to FM. Yeah, it still goes to FM mode. But CB is AM mode. So, I mean, if the radio actually has that feature, then why don't they just sell the radio in CB mode? I don't get it, you know. And like the advertisements, it says 10 meter and 11 meter, and some of them at least. So, I mean, if the radio has the capabilities of that, why don't they just sell? Why doesn't AnyTone just sell the freaking thing as 11 meter CB radio, already done? Doesn't make sense. So, but yeah, it wasn't really hard, you know. If you have a soldering iron and magnifying glass or good eyes, you know, all you have to do is desolder that joint to make it go back into American mode, and 4-watt output. So that's it. Cool. And the next video I'll show you guys installing my I'm going to put this little CB and my ham radio in my Bronco, and hopefully get everything configured and working. So alright, cool. Let me know if you have any questions.